Oprah Winfrey is someone I have never been a big fan of. I never really liked her show, liked what she did, and I never really felt that she was as good of a person as people would say that she was. She was not sparkly clean. And why does she always surround herself with people who are pedos or who are abusers or who are now convicted of many different crimes? She really does seem to make her way around, and let's not forget that that's not it. She was even feeding girls to these pedos, knowing what was going to happen, and that is absolutely disgusting. Now, we're going to be coming back to these pictures in a moment, but let's first talk about the healer John of God. He was sentenced to 100 years in prison for R-ing women and children between the ages of 9 and 67, apparently including his own daughter. How disgusting is that? He would turn off the lights and R them under the excuse of transferring spiritual energy. Completely mind play with these women. More serious allegations include baby farms where poor young women were held and forced to gestate in order to sell newborns abroad. He will now die in prison. This is absolutely disgusting. He has already been sentenced of these things, so how does Oprah play in? Well, turns out that he and her were buddies for a long time, and she was promoting people to go to his services for his spiritual healing, most likely knowing that this stuff was going on. And I'm sure that she herself had some of that healing. Let's listen into what this has to say.
John of God as a miraculous faith healer, one who could cure cancer, giving him international recognition. Jao Tashira is now serving 19 years in prison for the of 4 women. He is facing additional cases related to several crimes, including keeping teenage women as slaves in underground mines, forcing them to have his children, and selling their babies internationally for tens of thousands of dollars before murdering the women after about 10 years of childbirth. Oprah runs her own leadership academy for girls in Africa, a $40 million school for disadvantaged girls, where in 2007, several children were abused and parents were only allowed to see their children once a month.
And I have said for years, if the abuser is any good, you won't even know it's happened.
And who is Oprah giving a kiss to on the cheek right there? You already know, Harvey Weinstein, someone that has been taking advantage of women forever. It's known, it's not a secret. She knew, and like we said, she was feeding him young girls. Now, we all know that Oprah has this school in Africa that has underprivileged or people that just don't have an opportunity in life. So Oprah, out of the goodness of her heart, creates this school to give these women a future, potential. But many of the girls that were at this school were abused in that disgusting kind of way. In addition to that, some of the girls had actually gone missing and were believed to have been sold to satanic ritual type people, which brings me to this next short video that I want to share with you guys regarding Oprah and how she was actually involved in selling children to these satanic ritual people. And honestly, I know this stuff all sounds so crazy, so conspiracy theory-esque, but really, is it crazy? Or was this type of stuff actually going on with the upper echelon people? The people in celebrity world that have tons of money, some of the most famous, or the people in politics that have some of the most money. Do they lead this really crazy type of life? We're going to hear right here, the former leader of the Satanic Church claims half of the kids that are missing are never found because they are used for satanic sacrifices, and went on to mention Oprah Winfrey's school in South Africa. Point here, I believe it's 70% of children that are lost are never found. And he's claiming right here, being an ex-leader of these cults, that 50% of the children that are taken, of the 100% taken, are used for sacrifice, which is nuts. Let's listen into what this guy actually has to say regarding his inner workings with these satanic cults.
That there's games and certain platforms that people use and children use where there are literally Satanists trolling on there, trying to connect with children, to lure them into things by using certain symbols in the background of games and things like that. It is a reality.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing right there. So I have children, right? And they play video games, Roblox and all that stuff. It's said, we've seen it in television shows that, people are trying to communicate with these children in games. This stuff literally does happen. So parents, make sure that you're putting on some type of blockers, or even if you're not putting on blockers for your children and what they could see, because Roblox, it's a kid's game, right? Make sure you're educating your children on safety, how to be safe, to never give their information away or anything like that when they're playing their games.
So that you say like children, right? Are they looking to trying to convert them into Satanism, or they're looking to use them for other things?
Both. Why do you think we have such a human trafficking problem?
Go into that a bit more.
So the other person again that we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Okay. So Oprah Winfrey had a school here in South Africa, Oprah Winfrey School for orphans, quite a while ago, just years ago. He was very much involved with that as well. And the children disappeared from there.
All right, so he's saying that the person that goes unnamed right now, they mentioned him before, he was working with Oprah at the school and was responsible for the children going missing.
He was very much involved with
Was
that
this a scandal? Like, was this a known thing?
Yeah. Go and Google it.
So if I Google missing kids from Oprah's preschool, it will come up.
In South Africa, it will come up.
Yes.
So what happened to those kids?
You guess.
They were used in sacrifices? Really? So okay, I don't know if any of this is true. I don't know anything about this. But if that is true, that's shocking.
Again, so I've not seen that.
And why those kids?
But I heard, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
This is what I've heard from people who knew the perpetrators very well.
All right, so he did say that this is not firsthand. We need to point that out. He did not firsthand see Oprah Winfrey doing this, but he secondhand heard from the sources that this stuff was going on. So that's where we kind of have that point where we need to make up our minds. Is this stuff, or did this stuff actually happen? Or is Oprah Winfrey this great person who's just trying to give back to orphans over in Africa? Let's finish up what he has to say. See if he's got any more good details here.
And this is one of the founding members of the South African Satanic Church and the person who funded a lot of the legal stuff.
So that guy was up to some really dark stuff, eh?
So the children that disappeared from that specific school, a lot of them were never found.
Right.
And if I ask you, if I sit here and ask you, how many children do you know that go missing in this country? We're not talking about the world yet. We're talking about this country. Okay. How many children goes missing in this country that they are never found? Their bodies are never found.
I think the majority. It's more than 50%, like more than 70%, I think, even of kids that are taken are never found. And the ones that are found generally weren't lost in the first place.
I mean, that's crazy numbers, first of all. And it's even crazier to think that Oprah could be someone that was involved in these disappearances. So was she just keeping bad company? I mean, let's be honest. Oprah knew everyone. She's one of the most famous women in American history. So of course she's going to be encountering many different people. But is there a point where it's just she's been around too many of the people that are being taken down for their dirty behaviors? Or is she that innocent woman? And honestly, that's for us to decide. I do think it's going to come out soon.